everybody. Welcome to the Straight Outta BS podcast. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. I really appreciate it. I want to thank my Patreon members. Thank you guys. I really appreciate all of you. If anybody's interested in donating and supporting the podcast, do that. Links are in the description. I want to do a moment of silence for anybody struggling with like intrusive thoughts or anything like that. So on the count of three, I'm going to do a moment of silence. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you for that. And without further ado, I want to go ahead and introduce my guest for the day. Go ahead and introduce yourself and where you went and what years.
Hi, how are you? You asked, what question did you have? Did you ask me?
Where did you just like introduce yourself and like what school you went to and what year?
Oh, what school I went to? Okay,
Yeah.
well, my name is Shelva Jackson. I particularly didn't go to any of the boarding school. I actually sent my son there, and then I ended up working there. So that was in the year of 2017 to 18, and then I was there. Let's see, COVID happened. 2020, I worked there for 7 days, and I had seen everything that I needed to see. It was to the point where I'm like, I made the biggest mistake of my life as a parent, I feel, sending my son there. But I believe that, it was just ordained that I ended up working there. And when my son and I were both supposed to go back. And at the last minute, he was like, I'm not going, you go. He said, because I want you to see what I went through. So that's how I ended up meeting everybody at the Capitol of Missouri with the Lester Roloff client, students, former students. That's where I met them when we went to change legislation for the state of Missouri for boarding schools and how they're run.
Okay.
So that's what led me here is trying to get the story out about this particular school because he allegedly has been charged with sexual abuse, SA, I guess that's what you want to say, with SA. And he's still on YouTube with his pictures with kids. And I've been trying to, let YouTube know, you need to pull this guy down with these type of allegations. So I just decided that I was going to do a dry run. I said, you know what? I want my own boarding school. So when I started a website at the beginning, started a new website, and my goal is to have a boys' home that's in a safe environment that are at risk prior to legal issues.
So one that would actually be regulated and that could actually like be safe and stuff like that.
Regulated and what could be safe? Well, the people that I have, the volunteers that I have, and some of the board members that I have, number one, like work for the federal prison.
Yeah.
And they are writing some of the policy and procedures just for handle a situation, a high risk situation, opposed to restraining somebody to the point of death, like we have Cornelius Fredericks. Which happened at the time where they had the George Floyd going on, and the story was out, but George Floyd took precedence over, and this child was only Cornelius Frederick was only 16. My thing is just to write legislation and to make these people abide by the rules. To it's like calling CPS. I call CPS from the state of Missouri all the way to the state of Texas. And they were putting me on hold forever, hanging up the phone forever. And they took the report finally, but then I got a letter that says they found no allegations. I'm like, I sent you pictures. So what do you mean there's no validity to this? Because he said that this is a safe environment. Well, the school that's in Washington, one of the schools, the parents had to come and get the kids because CPS went in that second time. That was after we did this legislation thing, working through at the state capitol. David Bosley, one of the schools, the boys were protesting to get out of there and to go home. But it's sad because, you have parents that are like me that, put our kids there with our own money. Then you have parents, the kids are already awarded to the state. So, he'll keep them forever because that's a sure paycheck.
Yeah, yeah.
Working us at work, so, he wants to, feel like, he's not above, he's above God, that's, when I worked there, I was like, these kids are just running wayward. Only thing is that they're not in the cities, in the slums, in economical stressed areas. They're not in those type of environment, but they're running just wild. And, they had like farm equipment, like pick saw, the pick things you pick the hay up with. Those pitchforks, they were in the ground and the grass had covered it. So they call it sweeping the ground every morning. If you were sweeping the ground every morning, wouldn't somebody see this pitchfork? And they just running in the backyard with no shoes, access to weapons. And I would say, I guess because I'm like that, and I know that I was kind of abrasive because, I worked for the state, and I took pride in what I did. And working in a penitentiary with an all-male penitentiary system, working with those boys were ideal because the program that they taught in the prison system, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, is a program that was written for kids. So David, his name is David Bosley. It's like, my boat, my RV, my trips that I'm taking my family on. Well, you said in your website that you offer these things to kids. So you don't take them anywhere. One time they did go, we met up at Duck Dynasty.
Okay.
We met up there, and some of the kids were allowed to come, and those who had behavioral issues had to stay behind. I've had people call me and say that they have video of someone that lives like not far from there that has audio video of somebody being beaten. But it's just don't want to say her name. It's like the things that I look at what David did. I think he paid my son hush money. Not to say anything.
What makes you think that?
Well, he told me David sent him some money because
Okay.
when I left to go and work in Missouri, they moved me there, and I broke my lease because I was just sure about this thing. I'm like, this is a great opportunity, and in Duck Dynasty, I might get a chance to be the mom of a reality show.
Yeah.
So and I get there, and it's just like everything that my son kind of vaguely danced around, I saw it. Like my son said, one time my son called me and told me that a boy was raped, but they were afraid of my son because he's a big boy.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much running stuff. If he didn't want to do it, really, he wasn't going to do it, and it wasn't nothing that they could do about it. They called me, trained my son the first couple of days, and my son said it was almost 11 boys holding him down.
Yep.
So I'm thinking he's restraining because he's like, fighting them, and it was some BS they restrained him for. But because he was causing such havoc at home, I'm like, you're doing this for attention, and you're gonna because this is the best thing for you. If you come home, you're gonna end up dead.
Yeah.
And the whole time he's going through bullshit.
Yeah. Well, you'd been sold a lie. I feel like a lot of people don't realize is that, the majority of these parents, there are, a few parents that are just fucked up parents, but overall, in general, these parents were sold a lie just as much as we were brainwashed, So,
Right.
I mean.
Exactly. They tried to brainwash me, and how he started trying to brainwash me was send me things by, what's Candace Owens? I had never heard of Candace Owens, until he was like, you ever listen to her? And I'm like, who is this? So he started sending me videos of her, and he was like, how do you feel about this? I said, well, some of the topic that she talked about, the points that she made, I agree with, but the other stuff I really don't, I'm not going to conform to bull crap. When I got there, the boys were just doing whatever they wanted. The boys were doing whatever they wanted, to where one kid was hit, tackled, and his arm was dislocated, and the child screamed for hours for help.
And was he given proper medical attention?
After the house dad, who was his brother, okay, family all the way around, family. His brother, he was in the room entertaining his fiance. So all this happens to this child, and I don't know anything about a broken arm, and I'm just trying to. He was like, help me, and all I saw this child's bones just bulging out. So I started videoing after that point, and I got that on video. CPS didn't find anything, but the brother had to call instead of calling 911, he calls David Bosley, preacher owner, to find out if it was okay to call 911. Are you out of your freaking mind, you butt? Well, you know why? Because there's always a bunch of malarkey going on.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any chain of command when somebody's injured, that should all go out, You just call 911,
Yeah, back to the, can I tell you this real quick, back to this? And then when my son had called me and told me someone was raped, right? My son says, Mom, they listen to your telephone call when you're on the telephone, so they know everything. But at that point, my son really didn't care. And so I said, so somebody got raped? I'm like, oh my God. And and I was like, what happened? And he's like, it didn't happen to me, but an older boy molested a younger boy. Okay, so I was like out of my mind. Okay. The next morning, my son calls me back, and he has been coerced to tell me everything is situated now. The boy went to jail. They separated the older boys from the younger boys, which they did. They moved. They had another house that David was staying in, so they put some of the kids over there and some of the older kids over there. And so, and I said, so what happened? So my son was coerced to tell me this stuff, that the boy was taking charge. I mean, things were taken care of, and that was just a lie, the gaslighting, it's just crazy. I saw a boy get shot in the eye with a nail, and the kid cried, and they kept telling him, suck it up, Buttercup, you'll be all right. You just a sissy and stuff like that, that is not a place for a person to be, where you're being taunted, and I told David, I said, that boy, this one is bullying this one. And that boy later that night hit that boy so hard, he dislocated his arm. That same boy was chasing me with a dead snake. And I'm like, that is not funny, Yeah. We went fishing, we came back from the fishing hole, the kid, I said, how are we going to clean all this fish? And they go, I'll be right back. And so the boy comes back, and he has like 20 knives. What? I'm like, okay, y'all got permission to carry slingshots. One boy got a permission to carry a knife. Do you hear me? And I'm sitting at the table eating, and he's standing behind me with the knife, in, out, in, out. I'm like, would you sit down and give me that knife? And they weren't used to anyone talking to them that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So they started what we call in the penitentiary system is splitting staff. So they be nice to Miss Shelva, and and I told the dude, he says, I've been here and I know Pastor Bosley longer than you. I said, well, I evidently trusted the place because I sent my son here. Now I'm working here, but I won't be here long.
Yeah.
This is a holy place. I'm going to tell you. I told him, I say, since this is a holy place, I say, I have been discovered everything I need in 7 days. I'm out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. And I went home in fear of my life, because Missouri, you could pack guns,
Yeah.
David has lots of guns, and anybody that associated with me, they were blacklisted. One family had an RV there that they were keeping there to come and visit their son, I think from Washington. And when he found out that she was corresponding with me, he went and told them, you got to come and get your RV. And so when they came to pick it up, David had unplugged it And everything that was inside of there was, she said it was flies as big as a bat trying to get in and get out of that argument. Why would you do something like that if you're a Christian? Why would you slap some kid across the head with a Bible if you're a Christian?
Well, it's just a facade. It's a way to, in my opinion, it's a facade. It's a way to like misdirect people and be like, I would never do something like that. You know, I'm holy. I would never do that. You know, and in my opinion, it's projection, and it's just a bunch of they might think that they're Christian, but you know, if you're really Christian, Christianity is about forgiveness and loving, you know, your brother and everybody. So like, you know, that's not, where's the love in that? You're abusing people.
Yeah.
And you're gaining lots of money out of it too. You're getting lots of money out of it too. So there's, you know, two really bad things.
Getting a lot of money in it.
Do you feel that
my son said someone called him, I don't know, who's now supposed to be a police officer. Can you, you're glitching a little bit.
I'm glitching?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, you are. Am I glitching?
No,
okay.
You're not.
Okay. That's AI.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good on my end, but what were you saying?
I forget.
You were saying.
Yeah. I didn't hear your last.
You were saying your son and the police officer or something?
Yeah, my son, one of the guys that he went to school with, is a police officer, so say in Missouri, right, or close to that town, which is either Couch, Myrtle, or Thayer, and you got Myrtle, Couch, and Thayer. I don't know where he is, but he said, oh yeah, he saw my car on Facebook or some Instagram and said that if I come down there, he'll help me soup my car up. I said, you go anywhere near David Bosley, I believe he'll kill you. Because he wants me to leave him alone and he wants me to stop. You know, I have people coming, oh, you're a liar. All that stuff didn't happen. I can't tell a liar can't tell the same story over and over again.
Well, yeah, and it's not
the same one.
It's not the only school that's done this. So, I mean, they have a bad track record. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not like you're the only person saying this. It's a bunch of people that are saying this about a bunch of different schools. So, you know, I completely believe what you're saying, you know, because it's completely in line with what I usually hear from people. Do you believe that do you believe that he got off on, you know, inflicting pain on the students?
On those two girls? Oh, you're talking about inflicting pain on the students that he had, emotional, physical, type of abuse. I mean, yeah, I think it is power as control, which is a thinking error. You know, I'm the boy. He got pride out of the boys calling him Big Dog. Big Dog said, Big Dog. That don't sound like that's what God would, you know, somebody like that's a preacher call himself.
Yeah.
You know, Big Dog said we could I got pictures. I said, if you guys don't get off of this kid, restraining him with no adult supervision, you're going to deal with me. Oh, deal with me. And that started a mess. Oh, that brother of David Bosley was so mad with me. And it got to the point where I stayed downstairs. They were like up. I was down in the basement. They were up, right? And he could lock the door from upstairs. I couldn't lock it, but it could be locked from upstairs with the key, or I think with the key, I can't remember. Yeah, with the key. I didn't have a key to open it. I said, these dudes this man could come in here when and they could get rid of me.
Yeah.
On and all that property out there. And then when I was getting ready to leave, they were holding my check. And one of my friends said, well, what time did you tell them you were going to leave? I told them I was going to leave 5:30 in the morning. She says, if I were you, I would pack what you got, what you can, and get the heck up out of there. She said, because they can say you left at 5:30 and you're dead somewhere. You know, I believe that he has that type of malice. That man I have never met a liar like that and claim that they are a Christian. But like I told him, I said, David, I said, the difference, I said, you're a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, exactly what I was just thinking. Yep.
I'm a wolf. I'm gonna tell you who you're dealing with face to face. You know, I'm not gonna stop until those schools in Missouri, the ones that he have in Missouri still, but see what he did was, I think it's in someone else's name.
Yeah, see,
he switched ownership.
That's what they do. Is they'll close the facility that has the allegations against them. They'll rebrand, relocate, and then they'll come up with a new name, and they'll be like, it's under new ownership. It's not the same thing. Blah 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 blah. Blah, and then they'll do the whole same shit again, and make it even worse. That's usually what they do, and it needs to be stopped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It needs to be stopped, and you know, that's one reason, like I said, I would love for to get a grant big enough for me to go and buy the same place he has, and go there and really and truly do an agriculture department, really and truly homeschool the kids, because they're misfits and treated bad at the high schools, because they go there, their clothes are all wrinkled, their pants are all jacked up, they don't have haircut. When I walked onto that when I walked onto that house property, they were like, Miss Shelva, they were so happy to see I was black, number one.
Yeah.
And then the other little black kids were there, and it was like their hair is like really out of control. And he was like, Miss Shelva, you know how to cut hair? And the kids were going to try to cut their own hair. And I was like, I raised two boys. Yes, I can cut your hair. And we sat on the porch. I had not even met these kids, and I did cut their hair. And then when I walked in, David Bosley's brother Matthew was in the bedroom with his lover, and they thought they had cooked the food. They just put the lasagna that they eat, carbohydrates every day, all day. They just put it in the oven, and they forgot to turn the burner on. And so the kids are waiting to eat dinner. And then so the boy goes, oh my God, the food's not thawed out. So Matthew comes out and he says, well, we're just going to have breakfast. They said, I don't want breakfast again at night. So you're cooking breakfast for them at night all the time.
Yeah.
I did something different for them. I cooked a gumbo.
Hell yeah.
And they were like, I was going to change the whole atmosphere. But, you know, and then David made a thread on Facebook, and he was like, Miss Shelva is deciding to go home because she misses her son, and everybody wished her a farewell. And they were like, nice to have you here, and blah, blah. And I said, that is a effing lie. I am leaving because that girl, not girl, I'm so sorry. Sweetheart, he blocked that thread, but I was like, he didn't block it. Single one. And when I left Texas to work in Missouri, like I said, I sold everything that I didn't need, gave away, and broke my lease. And when I left there in 7 days, I came back, I was homeless for 6 months because David wouldn't pay me or help me get back on my feet.
How long was it? Was it a big? It must have been a big check that he had withheld from you then.
What?
It must have been a bigger check that he had withheld from you then. That's messed up.
You're breaking up.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. It must have been a bigger check that he withheld from you then. That's really messed up that you were homeless because of that.
Yeah.
Hard to hear that.
Yeah. But you know what? That was the best experience for me. So I know what to do next time if it happens.
Now also,
you know, but David, you know, he really did it.
I was just saying, you've been illuminated.
You're breaking up again.
You've been illuminated to what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know that came with it. You got to see what's actually happening and see that your son wasn't just making stuff up and wasn't the bad kid like they were saying he was. You know, or whatever they were saying, trying to label him out.
And so, like when I went there to work, my son had already been away from there going a year and a half, I think, and kids were using his pillows, kids were using his sheets. They had, because everything that I would send my son stuff there all the time. And so when my son left, I was like, Loyal, where's all your stuff? He's like, Mom, just go. I said, where's the computer that we supposedly have bought? He says, ain't no computer. Let's just get the hell out of here. I don't ever want to come back here.
Yeah. He just wanted to get the fuck out of there.
And he said they didn't mess with him. My son would probably, oh Lord, they stayed on his good side. And I basically got away with a lot of things. The rules, I bent the rules a lot because what my son was there, and then my background, and that I was active in his life, and called him and wrote him 2 and 3, 4 times a week. When I went to work there the second night, David says, sit at the table with Miss Shelva, boys, and write letters to your parents. Miss Shelva, make them write good letters. But I didn't understand what that meant until I went into the medicine room, and all the children's letters for Father's Day that was supposed to go out was sitting on the desk if they weren't a good letter.
Yeah.
That says that we're learning so much and we're having so much fun. And I went fishing, I went swimming, and they're making them lie.
Yep.
Taking kids off medication who needs their medication. You are not God, and you're not a doctor. So why are you taking these babies off of the medicines that have ADHD or OCD issues and stuff, and you're letting them run rampant? And have one kid, he couldn't stay in his clothes. And I saw this in 7 days. He couldn't stay, he'd take his clothes off. So I started making him dress layered. I'll make him put on like 3 or 4 pair of pants. 3 or 4 t-shirts. I've been working with him, and I said, you get to take one piece off at a time. I'm not gonna call his name. One piece at a time.
Yeah.
So it's just, man, when I got there, the brother was entertaining the lover in the bedroom, and when the kid got his eye shot with a nail, they were trying to make me drive him to the hospital. I don't know where in the hell I am, and I don't even know how to drive in the mountain area.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do that. I said, I can't drive him.
Yeah.
So he had to lay on the couch for days. And then when they finally took him to the emergency room, the child's cornea was torn.
Yep.
Had to have emergency surgery.
It's horrible.
And now they lied to his mom. And I'm like, how do and I got a list of all the patients, all the names of the kids and their last names to try to find their families. And, but it's still so tiny, I can't see it. Yeah. I didn't get a good screenshot. But I would love to get grant money and go and get that school and those houses and show them how it's supposed to be done. And that was one of the reasons why David hired me. Help him write his policy and procedures. Help him write a grant, write for grants. But you can't get, I was telling him, I said, if you're a religious entity, you're not going to get one. And so they make better money because they got fools like me that paid out of our retirement and or my son's trust fund. I want my son's money back. I want him closed down.
They prey on desperation. They prey on that desperation because they know that you'll do anything to help your kid. You'll do anything, even if it means emptying their trust fund, whatever the fuck it takes. You know, and they prey on that. They know that you're in a vulnerable position. They know you are. So
and you know what they did?
What to say to you? You know
what they did?
What?
Oh, he's gonna go to school and this, that. My son was like a year behind. He got no credits while he was there to transfer back to the school in Texas.
Because it wasn't fucking an accredited school, right?
Right. It wasn't a school, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Them kids didn't doing crapola, man. Well, the 7 days that I was there.
Did they have them like testing themselves, like reading a chapter and then testing themselves?
Like a schedule in the morning?
Just like self-taught? Was it self-taught or was there a teacher there?
They have a teacher, which is a husband and a wife. They're not they're really, really loyal to David. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're so loyal to David, where David's teeth are pretty, and he goes to the dentist, but they don't go to the dentist. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're flaunting all this power on these poor people. You know what I mean? And you're making these people work for you. It's crazy. But yeah, the homeschooling evidently wasn't crapola, because my son had no high school credit. He that put him a year behind and messed up his football.
Yeah.
And David would promise my son that he would come to his games and stuff, and my son looking for him, and it got to the point where my son called David. He told me, he told David, asked David, why are you doing my mom like this? He told my son, I destroyed the house before I left. And guess what? He kept some of my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope my ancestors eat his ass alive. Because you got a lot of
fucked up people.
Yeah.
People, and really, really, like, they're power hungry at the top of these fucking schools. At the top of these schools just are a bunch of power hungry people. Yeah. Way too much money. Way too much money.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And did you let's see. So how long was your son in the program?
A year.
A year?
Yeah, 1 year.
Mm-hmm. And how would you graduate this program? Like, what was expected of you? Were there phases?
Repeat that.
What was the point of
yes, they have, they call themselves having, I forget what they call it, but they got different color t-shirts as they ranked. And they got more power as they got ranked. More, so they say, privilege. And a privilege can be just driving down to the little corner store and buying them some popsicles.
Yeah. Little.
Really?
Yeah.
That is the treat,
Yeah, it's little bitty things, just enough to keep you, motivated somewhat.
Yeah. When I went there to figure out if I was going to go work there or not, the kids were eating probably lasagna again while we were out having steak dinner.
It's not right.
In the fancy truck, and it was like, I said, this a fancy truck? He's like, yeah, I forget what it was. I think it's a King Ranch, and he has motorcycles and ATVs and what's a working ranch, which if he sees this, he's probably going to go and try to change it. But the working horse that they had was the name Liberty, and the horse's back was just basically all dented in. You know what I'm saying? The horse is like on his way out of there. And everything is my horses, my peacocks, my goats. Let me tell you this last gross thing. The kids were pooping and peeing outside, and for pooping, they would go in the barn where the goats were, because they weren't allowed to go back in the house to use the bathroom.
That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Yeah. We don't even do that to, it's crazy. We don't even do that to our prisoners. I mean, in some prisons it gets really bad, but in prisons in the U.S. for the most part, we don't even treat people that are convicted criminals. We're treating.
Yeah, that's inhumane punishment.
Yeah, we're treating inhumane punishment. It just doesn't make no sense. It's crazy. It needs to stop. It's why, it's important.
It's important that these type of videos get out. And people, those who are watching, to support the podcast, and, these things need to be brought out so that we could try to mend the world. If we're going to have one, mend the future kids, if we're going to have one, sending our kids there is the pipeline. It's a prison in itself. Mm-hmm. It's because, you're mixing kids. Like, my son didn't have any legal issues, but you're mixing them with kids that are CPS, and he saw things and that he'd never seen happen or do before, and I'm thinking I'm sending my son with some place where people, if the Dynasty sent his kid there, so that's money.
Yeah.
I'm not Duck Dynasty at all. But he was surprised to see me at the time that he did. He was like, "Who is that?" And at that time, I wore long dreadlocks and stuff, you know. And then everybody says I sound like Whoopi. So what's that dude? David started. He said, "Oh, that's little Whoopi. That's the person I was telling you about for the reality show. She's gonna be the house mom."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. That didn't work out. So I'm gonna be the house mom to my own school.
That works too. That works too.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. If you could go back in a time machine and like not have worked there, would you do it, and why?
You broke up. You're breaking up.
Okay. If you could go back in a time.
Repeat that again. I did.
Okay. If you could go back in a time machine and not go, not like have worked there, would you do it, and why? Or have sent your son there?
If I had to do it all over again, I would certainly do my research. I didn't do enough research. I thought I had done a great research, but I was looking for someone that fit my. I wouldn't do it again because I don't know, because my son was like really, really. I was afraid of losing him, you know. And now he's finally got it together, because, you know, it's like when he I think he has like PTSD from that place, and he's very quiet and calculated and don't say much. And, you know, I'm thinking now he's just now forgiving me for, you know, accepting the fact that I did the best thing that I could at the situation at the time. Would I go back and work there? Yes, I would, because I wanted to see what. I didn't want to see that. I wanted to make a change my career. I've always wanted to help kids, especially boys, boys long before I had my boys, and I've been working with kids forever. So I was going to try to institute more of a holistic approach. They tend to put the fear of God in them, you know. And that, you know, I want more at my place, more of the holistic approach where you change the mindset. And I want to be able to teach them that not only do you pray, but you have to learn to meditate and be able to hear. If you got so much racket going on and you're constantly begging, you're not learning how to meditate and clear your mind so that you can make the best decisions. You know, I wouldn't do it all over again, maybe sending my son there. I would probably just stick it out. But when a parent is going through, the kids still in the car at night and, you know, smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, hanging out with the lowest of the lows, and just doing crazy stuff, what do you do? And all I know is that I just wanted to save him from going to prison, or save him from making a wrong decision and getting killed. You know, that's the reason. Well, one thing I can say that happened while he was with David, he didn't die.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we were there, when he was there, when he came home, he had got hurt in a football game. And he was sitting there on the table. And so the doctor asked him, "What happened to your foot?" And so I looked at his foot. "Oh, that happened when I was at Master's Ranch." I said, "Nobody told me that your foot was sliced up." I said, "Did you get stitches?" "No." Yeah. So my son got hurt there, and you didn't even tell. I didn't even know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But this man and his wife needs to stop. And all the kids know that the wife hates being there. They'll tell you, you know what? When you drive up or you walk up and you come up, those kids be looking at you like, "Help me." Yeah. I didn't see it at first, but on my drive home, and one of the kids was like, "Miss Shelva, please don't leave us. Please don't." I said, "I promise you I'll be back." Yeah. I didn't probably get back in time enough, but I did see some pictures the other day with one of the kids that's in CPS was apparently lived there forever. He looks like a grown man. He has to be a grown man because he was my son's age and has no place to go. And then like David has one of the boys that went through the program. His name is Maxwell. He was charged for sexual SA.
Yeah.
To a minor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was David's supposedly adopted son. But he was just a boy. Oh, I believe David's a sick man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a sick man.
I don't understand how you can be at the top of a school like that and know everything that's going on and be complacent in it and be a good person at the same time. I don't think that's possible. I think, yeah, if it's your school, you know everything that's going on, and if you're just still gonna turn a blind eye to it, there's something fucking wrong with you.
Yeah. Like my son told him, he said, "Why are you saying that my mom destroyed this place? My mom would never do nothing like that." And so when I found out that they were having this going on at the Capitol, they called me the last minute. I got in my truck and I was like, and I think COVID was just coming. Yeah, I got in my truck and I was like, Lord, I don't know how to drive in the snow, but take me there. And I was getting so mad because I was so sleepy and the roads were so icy and my car was just sliding everywhere. So I went and I got a hotel, which I don't, a hotel, which I don't like staying at those because it's just not safe. I woke up, I slept maybe 2 hours and I was like, okay, I got back on the road and I was like getting really upset. I said, if I miss this and I'm late and I don't get a chance to speak, I said, God, I am going to be so angry with you. Yeah. Why did you have me do this? And I mean, I got there in just enough time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I had never really seen snow, pretty much in my life. And so when I got out of the car, I slid down when you at the Capitol, it has this little incline. I went sliding down. When I got in there, I was full of mud and ice.
Oh no.
But yeah, and that's where I met some of the ladies. And we ended up spending the night together and talking. And I think we've become great friends. Behind all this. But we have some really damaged people that are suffering with PTSD behind these type of schools.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to stop.
Do you how is you and your son's relationship now? Have you talked about like has he talked to you about like what it felt like to be there? Have you like kind of bounced stories off each other? Where are you?
Now since he has a daughter, who she's only 6 months, it's like I ask him all the time, "Are you still mad at me? Do you forgive me?" He was like, "I'm not mad at you. I forgive you." But when we have like heated arguments, keeps bringing it back up. You sent me away, and blah blah blah. We haven't had that explosion recently. I would say since March, because I had to, he was just so angry and out of control with me. This anger, I had to have him arrested and taken away from my house.
Yeah.
Well, and so now, now the relationship is, I hope, getting better for the sake of his daughter. But, and the name of the nonprofit is called Idols Limited, and he's made himself the CEO.
Awesome.
And he said he's going to tell his story because, maybe somebody will believe him, I don't know, but somebody has to open their eyes and be able to see that this is not they need to be monitored by the state.
Yeah.
And the CPS, people need to do their freaking jobs. Police officers need to do their freaking jobs. You don't get a chance to treat somebody like crap, but you fall under religion and you don't have to follow state. But hopefully all that legislation is going to be changed soon. And, they have to abide by the law.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like a cult. It's a cult,
Oh,
basically.
it's completely a cult. These places are definitely cults, for sure.
He's not, his name is like David, it's David Bosley, but he reminds me of David Koresh from Waco.
Oh, yeah. A lot of these heads of these schools remind me a lot of, David Koresh type figures. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's same kind of shit. Like, they don't want people on their facility. They don't want people taking pictures. They don't want people talking about what goes on there. They don't want you writing letters out. Man,
you drive up on the property, you're gonna be met at the door.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, you can't.
You're just not gonna walk in over there.
Yeah, you can't. Even the place I was at, the cops weren't even allowed. Like, they could come there, but they had to they had to let them know a day or so prior to coming up there, so they had time to hide everything.
To clean it up. To clean up.
Exactly. Yeah. And even then, the sheriff was still on their payroll, so at least in my opinion.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's really unfortunate that these places are still open.
Yeah, and get away with it. I
commend you for your bravery in coming out and sharing your story, for sure.
Yeah. My son was like, "Mom, do you know people get paid for that?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "But I feel like I'm doing what my higher power tells me to do. My spirit tells me that this is the right thing to do. You don't hurt kids."
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, period.
And people like myself, or maybe like you, I've gone through things where I've been molested as a child, been falsely accused of things. So, and I'm open, I see it because I'm awakened. I'm not blind to it. You know what I mean? But it only took me 7 days to get to the point where I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Because number one, Matthew, the brother, man, he was like, "You're old and this and that." And so, no, me being old has nothing to do with this. It's morals and values.
Yeah.
Dysfunction and dysfunctional. This is dysfunctional. Man, the house was like full of flies. The kids' room smelled like urine. Some kids didn't have sheets. They had to sleep on plastic because they kept wetting the bed, and full of bumps all the way around their bodies. But your mom is sending $40-some thousand here this year, and you're sleeping on plastic.
Yeah.
There's mold leak coming from the ceiling.
Yeah, it's like, well, where's all the money going?
I sit back when. Yeah. I bet you I can go over there right now, and it's been a long time. I bet you some kid over there probably got my son's tennis shoes on.
Probably.
And that's the kids. That's the kids from the CPS. You don't give them sheets and the same things that I sent my son there with and would send every month. Where are their pillows? Oh, they get the leftover stuff, but you're getting paid from the state.
Yeah.
The kids had me all walking in a pond, right? Sightseeing. And later that day, we're itching. Oh my God, I'm itching. I think it was chiggers or something because the cows and stuff being there or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And so I went to Walmart and I went and got some medicine. So I called the school and I was like, should I bring the boys something to put on their, because the pharmacist says that, it might be chiggers or something like that. And they were like, no, they have money in their on their books. Well, when are you going to go get it?
Yeah.
And so I put some stuff on them and they got mad at me for coddling them.
Yeah, of course. Yep. When you try and help,
nobody's showing them organization. None at all.
Yeah, when you try to help, you get labeled as the bad person.
You're breaking up again.
I was saying, when you try and help, you get labeled as a bad guy.
Exactly. When you tell the truth, you get labeled as the bad guy.
Yep. Yep.
That's crazy. This world is like being controlled by some demonic force that I just can't even reckon with. And I guess with me being, it's time for me to get out of here, you know?
Yeah, the world's crazy. The world's really crazy.
You broke up.
I was just saying the world's crazy right now.
Yeah. I just want to be happy.
For sure. Amen to that. Well, is there anything more you want people to know about your story? Or anything I just tell a parent thinking about sending their kid here to a school like this?
Yeah, I would tell parents, call me first. Call me first. Do not send your kids to a boarding school until I'm able to get up and running. And I hope that it'll be soon, because, you know, I'm an older person and I don't want to, you know, die without seeing this vision come through.
Yeah.
I would love, if I could just change the lives of maybe 10, you know, but I know that the program that I have will work, because kids would be there and be treated with love, just the way that I went there to work and change their lives. You know, there were no didactic groups, individual groups. They weren't doing anger management groups. Some of them were there for like addiction. Nobody was doing anything for addictions. Just running wayward. Just running wayward. Just doing whatever they want to do. You know, they tell him to go take a bath, but Matthew's in the bedroom with his girlfriend, this is supposed to be a Christian atmosphere, and you're shacking and sleeping with your girlfriend. And so when I told that to David Boss, I said, your brother is in the bedroom with his girlfriend. And I said, and one of the kids made a comment about what was going on in the bedroom. Oh, well, David's response was, oh, you can expect that from him because he's just an awful, awful kid. No, he's not an awful, awful kid. He's saying the truth, and your brother shouldn't be fornicating in a supposedly Christian atmosphere. Yeah. Even if they weren't doing anything, why are you behind closed doors in a bedroom?
Yeah, around kids, more or less. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're not husband and wife. So yeah, that was a problem for me.
For sure.
But that's something I would like to, you know, people could check out the website and see where we're going. My next goal is to have a golf tournament for next year. Try to raise money for the kids. I you know, we need everything. Just trying to find a place, but I want to pretty much emulate what David started, but do it right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can go to Missouri and maybe if I contact one of those state representatives, they'll get me over there.
You know, yeah. You know, and what I tell people all the time is we might not be able to get every single one of these places shut down. What the solution might have to end up being that we have schools, but they're regulated. They're actually like, you know, they're doing the right thing, right? So that it's either to be that or they're going to get all shut down. And I personally don't think it's all going to be shut down. I think that there's too much money in it. And I think that if we're going to get any leeway at all, I think we're going to have some sort of an actual rebranding of something good, like an actual like helping program instead of like a facade.
Right.
Program, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know.
And I think that's what Idols Limited is going to be. That's my goal, is to make it world renowned. You know, this is I know I got a program in my mind that can really work, because I look at psychology and I look at theater arts. They're the same theories basically, and it's the here and now basically. But I believe that through acting and through, you know, cultivating personalities, giving kids an opportunity to explore in a safe environment, not having to worry about going to the corner store, you know, in a bad neighborhood and getting hurt at a corner store, you know, where they're safe. You know, if I'm going to teach them a trade, I want them, if they spend time with me, I want them to have some type of trade. I want you to have a TWIC card, which you need here. I want you to be able to learn how to drive a forklift, a cherry picker, learn how to use these saws and tools, carpentry, and do it for real.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So when you get out, you have something to stand on.
Something to stand on.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're going to teach agriculture, my dream is to see the agriculture part of it, because David would buy animals and take them and auction them off. I don't know if you're auctioning them for yourself or for the school. It's evidently for himself, because he made it known that all of this was his. And but I would like for the kids to get with the SPCA here and adopt an animal, and if they want to do a farm animal, they can do a farm animal, and then take it to the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Show and auction it off, show it, you know, to teach them how to garden for real, you know, not just show you some nice pictures on. That's what I looked at. I looked at the website,
yeah,
and I was like, wow, working ranch, that is like perfect for my son.
Yeah.
They treated him like a Hebrew slave because he was super strong. And my son was the size of it. You ever heard of Herschel Walker, the football player?
Yeah. Yeah.
My son looks like him and is built like him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's a boy of very few words. So that makes me really wonder, are you okay?
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that.
So yeah, that's what I would like to that's what I see in the very near future. And like I told my son, you know, after I'm gone, you can make this work, and don't be ashamed of your story, because your story can take care of you in itself and then save somebody else as well.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about it is our testimonies are not for ourselves. Just for, that's selfish. I should be able to tell you my testimony because I might do something. I might help you.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not ashamed of what I've been through. You know, I am ashamed that I sent my son in this modern day and age to a boarding school and was bamboozled with someone saying, I love the Lord, he heard my cry. Ooh, he's holy. Hallelujah.
Yep.
And he's the devil.
Yep.
You know what he said on, you got to go check this YouTube, he on a YouTube video. He said that, I think he was talking about me, he called me, he referenced me as Lord of the Flies.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, do you know what happened to him at the end of the movie? He was found dead by the seashore. I was like, are you trying to tell me if you get a hold of me, you can kill me? And nobody will know? No, I'm going to tell everybody. And when I was driving back from Missouri, I told everybody, if something happens to me, David Bosley did it.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's documented even more. So if something happens, and it wasn't her. Yeah, it wasn't her. Exactly.
Yeah. So,
all right.
That's my goal in my dream. And I really appreciate the opportunity, because, you know, when I hit you up, I think I talked with Barbara, and she's like, hit him up. You know, you met Barbara?
Yeah, I did an interview with her just recently. Yep.
Yeah, she's a nerd.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, thank you so much for getting a hold of me and for sharing your story. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you, because what you have done is open the door for me. And, you know, a lot of people who have their platforms and building their platforms, they don't want to help the little guy that really is trying to do something. You know what I mean? That's really trying to save lives. You know, I look at all these other YouTube channels, and, you know, all they do is gossip about these stars and this and that. What about the little guy? This guy that nobody, what about him? That's why sometimes every time I put on my Facebook page, did you know about Cornelius Fredericks? Yeah. Same thing. He threw some bread and they killed him.
Yeah. Yep.
The stuff that I saw go on there just wasn't very nice. You know, just, it was enough for me. And I'm like, I can't be a part of this, because, you know, I work for the state of Texas and in a prison system, and what you're doing is not nice.
Exactly.
But I really appreciate the opportunity, you know, to helping someone, reaching down and helping someone tell their story.
For sure.
And it has to be heard from somewhere. I mean, yeah, but I appreciate it. And keep it, I'm going to send you some stuff so you can read some of the newspaper articles in regards to everything that we talked about.
Okay, cool. And send me the link to the website too, and then I'll include that when I it's gonna be a few weeks because I have several videos ahead of you, but I'm kind of behind, but I will let you know when I post it, and then I'll include that link in the description.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
It.
And to everybody else,
get some rest.
Yeah, to everybody else that's watched so far in the video, please like the video and yeah, just share, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye.